truth, or my universal truth is, where there's a will, there's always a way. There's always another option. There's always another option. There's always a choice. There's always a, that's what plays in my mind. And that's what leads me to just choose to live in truth and not get caught up in the illusion of our world that is constantly there to push us away and pull us away. And
hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of the Spiritual Inspired Show. I am your host, Claudiu Murgan. For older episodes, I invite you to visit spiritualinspired.ca, gnostictv.com, and our YouTube channel. In order to purchase my book, you can visit my personal store, soulawakeningstore.com. My guest today is Kristine Ovsepian. Kristine, thank you very much for accepting my invitation.
thank you for having me.
You know, you had so many certifications backed by huge experience in this field, but I would like to start by asking you something which everyone faces in this world, or most of us face in this world. You try to avoid the messages coming from the universe to follow your true path. How were these messages manifesting?
So for me, it began about 16 years ago. I was in accounting for many years, and I realized that was not my mission, my path, and I kept forcing it because coming from, my background and culture and belief systems and family, it was the safer job. It was the safer money, right? You get a paycheck and you're safe. But that was not the case for me. The more with each year that went by in accounting, I felt like my soul was just dying inside. And since I was little, I was always so connected to people, so connected to helping people. When I was 4 years old as a dancer, the moms used to ask me, how do we raise our children? And I had advice for everyone. And my mom used to think, people are crazy. Why are they asking my 4-year-old? And they were like, she has good advice. And because I loved it so much, for me, it was not, oh, I can do this as my path, as my mission, right? It came so naturally. But 10 years in accounting, by 2000, end of 2008, 2009, I was really emotionally in a very bad place, and it was manifesting in my body as pain and discomfort and gut issues and arm nerve damage issues. And to be honest with you, I just started praying. I just started praying to God, saying, God, please, universe, please save me. There has to be something where I love what I do. That was literally my everyday prayer. I want to love what I do. I want to help people. I want to be of service to humanity. And I want to, have the freedom of my time. I want to be abundant. That's what I was crying and driving to work every day with that manifestation, basically prayer. And I didn't even at that point realize that I was manifesting that. And then of course, when 2008 came and the market crashed, and there were many layoffs, and the many jobs were taken out of overseas, and with all of that mess started up my mission, which literally was given to me through a dream. It was complete divine intervention, universal intervention when I had that dream. And the dream was simply, I looked at myself from head to toe, which oftentimes we do in passive regression therapy. Like, who are you? And I remember in my dream saying, I remember who I am. But at that time, I was still forcing the accounting. I was sitting every day trying to study for the CPA exam, to pass those tests, to become a CPA, and to go that path. And my world literally, I won't say it went upside down, it went right side up. That's the difference. It went right side up. And I woke up in the morning and I literally took my computer and I typed in hypnotherapy. And coming from a Christian background with an Armenian culture and family, hypnotherapy to us, it's no, it's taboo. What are you talking about, right? But I was just in such a desperate place emotionally, mentally, physically, that I was like, this has to be divine universal intervention. And it truly was, because I typed in that word and my whole world changed. And suddenly I found out there was a school close by that had been 40 years, in business of giving people, diplomas, and the only certified school in the nation, hypnotherapy school. And the first day I entered that classroom, I was like, oh my God, I'm home. This felt like home because it was beyond psychology. And I always knew I didn't want to focus in psychology because psychology to me was such a, in a sense, to be kind, but I have to be honest with myself, it's such a judgment of, people have, labeling and all. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to free the mind and the heart and the energy universally to remember who we are instead of limiting ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. That just wasn't my path. So this path started. And then, of course, coming from my background, I had to get my master's degree as well because I was like, okay, if I'm certified in hypnotherapy, I want to work with doctors and I want them to know that I'm capable. So I went and got my master's in psychology as well. And I loved how I was bridging the two because the cases in psychology school, they were so heavy. They were so, sad in a sense. But then hypnotherapy would come in and kind of bring the hope and the growth and the expansion. And that's been my world for the past 16 years, like combining the two worlds, which I think is the most important thing, is not to deny one or the other, but to combine the two worlds and know that together it's empowering.
Yes,
I hope that
beautiful.
was not too long of an
No,
answer.
no, we need this type of a baseline when we start our conversation. And more and more of my guests, which are professionals and experts in their field, bring something new to their practice. So if they are psychologists, they bring tarot readings into
Absolutely. Oh, I love that.
what they
Yes.
do, or they bring as you said, something else, hypnotherapy. If
Mm-hmm.
they are
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know, they do massage, or they do
Mm-hmm.
yoga. They bring something new to make this bridge and
Absolutely.
look at healing from a holistic perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because after all, but the mission of the healing is not outside of ourselves, it's within ourselves. It comes from within. We have the power, we have the answers. I always remind my clients, when the doctor does their job of doing surgery, and no matter how hard the surgery, then they allow the body to heal itself. Nobody heals it, but the body heals itself. The person heals themselves. And the mindset is so important in that healing process, that if you keep a positive mindset, your body heals so much quicker and faster. And if you keep a negative mindset, it drags on and you end up having issues. So the power has always been in this beautiful mind of ours, that in remembering who we are, we we become empowered. We take our power back and we do change our lives. I mean, I'm the perfect example of that. 16 years ago I was a very fearful, limited person. And today, every time, even when challenges, and I always tell my clients, I don't sit here and say my life is blissful 24/7. That's not realistic. I'm still in human form. But what I am here to remind everybody, that the way we deal with challenges, the way we deal with problems in our world, we can shorten it, the suffering, or we can elongate the suffering. It's up to us. And to me, my mission is always to shorten the struggle, shorten the suffering, because the shorter it is, the quicker you catapult forward in your life. And that has always been my mission. And I know our society is always on the quick fix mission. And while before, my clients would be like, I'm here, fix me. And I was like, I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to empower you. I'm here to remind you of who you are. But at the same time, over the years, it dawned on me that I don't want to call it the quick fix, but it's the quickest way to catapult forward through hypnotherapy, because the subconscious work has to be done. We can't sit consciously and dwell on our problems and expect change to happen. It's not going to happen. So many of my clients come to me from traditional therapy and they're in tears saying, you're my last resort, Kristine. I've tried everything. And I've been talking about my same problems for 5 years, 10 years, some of my clients 15 years, and nothing has changed. And it's just my simple explanation is, you cannot sit and talk about it on the 12% mind level and not have tools, not have guidance, not have support, and you don't tap into the subconscious, because the programming is in the subconscious. That's our computer hard drive. If you don't change it from there, that information is constantly going to pour into your conscious, and your life is going to basically look like what it is inside of you, in your subconscious, deep within the programming. And that's why hypnotherapy, again, I don't want to call it the quick fix, but it truly is the quick fix, because between 4 to 6 sessions, my clients catapult forward in their life, from business to relationships to love life to money to, I mean, every single time they're like, how is this working so fast? How is this happening so fast? I'm like, because the power is within you. You just need the right tools to
Yes.
catapult forward. So it truly is the quick fix,
Yes. And at one
permanent
point,
fix.
yeah, and at one point, even your doctor told you that you have only 2 years to live if you continue on that path. Were they
Absolutely.
able, or was he able to put a diagnosis to what you're going through?
Well, there was a lot of different things going on. It was all psychosomatic mostly. And my gut, I don't want to go into it. It would be a little TMI, but my gut was just a mess. Like, I'll just stop there. Well, I mean, I had one thing I'll say, I had severe IBS, which literally was debilitating at that point. And I had nerve damage on my right arm, which literally went away without surgery. And I was supposed to have surgery while I was in accounting. And last minute, it was like that inner voice said, do not go there, do not do that, because they were going to open me up in 4 different places on my arm. And my doctor was like, you're emotionally killing yourself, and that's not looking good. Do something about it, change something. And he was the one that knew that I was not happy in my career. So he was like brutally honest with me. It was like, you can't go down this path. You're going to kill yourself. I was just simply like after that, I truly realized that our emotions are the number one place, which is why they say stress is the number one killer. And it just depends on the body as well. Some people can go with stress for 20 years and some people don't go with for 6 months. So it depends on the body's ability to even cope with stress. But to me now, when people tell me, aren't you depressed? Aren't you stressed? I'm like, no, should I be? Do we have to be? Is that like a thing that we have to live with? And I feel like as a society, I don't know if it's global or just certain parts of the world, it seems like we've bought the fact that stress and depression has to be a part of our lives. And I say, no, it's a choice we make. Everything is capable of change. And I know some people might listen to this podcast and be like, oh, what is she talking about? Let me tell you, I am a single mom raising 2 teenagers. So my life is not golden every day, but how I cope with things, and not even cope with things, how I approach life. Even if my left brain tends to be like, oh, this can't be, there's no path, there's no way, my right brain very quickly comes in and truly deep within, and it's a belief that is created, and I created that belief. I didn't have that belief. For me, I was raised everything is wrong, everything is going downhill, the worst case scenario. That's how I was raised. Always be prepared for the worst. I believe in like the next, when is the other shoe gonna drop? I was raised in that way, but then I completely reversed that belief system. And now when I have challenges in my life, the first thing that comes in from my truth, from my universal truth, is where there's a will, there's always a way. There's always another option. There's always another option. There's always a choice. That's what plays in my mind. And that's what leads me to just choose to live in truth and not get caught up in the illusion of our world that is constantly there to push us away and pull us away and distract us, right? So many distractions in our world. So
Yes, you're so right. And going back to the idea of bridging a lot of or many modalities of healing into your
mm-hmm.
practice, I was fascinated to see that you go very often to sacred plant medicine like kambo and cacao ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
How do you include and emerge all these modalities, and how people or your clients react to them?
Yes. So, of course, being a Gemini, when I first started this journey 16 years ago, from my mentors to teachers to everybody from psychology school to hypnotherapy school, they were constantly telling me, focus on one thing. Well, let me tell you, I'm a Gemini and I cannot focus on one thing. I love every modality that I work with. There's thousands of modalities out there. The ones that I work with is because, number one, it saved me and it changed my life. I'm a wholehearted believer in them, and that's why I work with them. And also because I believe that we are so multifaceted and multi-dimensional beings, not everybody can heal in the same way. This is why certain situations and healing modalities cannot fully heal a person, because when my clients come to me, as I always just simplify it this way, I have clients that come to me who are like kindergartners, where spirituality is like, oh my God, this thing exists, right? Because they've completely moved away from their truth and they forgot who they are, and they're just tapping into that world. And I have clients that come to me who are high schoolers or college, students, and I have clients who come to me who are PhD. Well, I'm never going to offer the first kind of journey as combo for a client who just kind of tapped into this, which is why my mission had always been, I want to be able to help, because also there's so much healing out there, and they all work together and they come together like a beautiful support, one supporting the other. My clients also don't want to go to 5 different healers, right? 10 different healers and get confused. So when they come to me, they're like, oh my God, this feels refreshing that I know I can start here and end up here, which is exactly what my mission has always been, that I want to help the person that is just tapping into remembering who they are, to the person that remembers who they are, but they need the support to clear karmic stuff, clear ancestral stuff, clear and detox their body, their mind, their energy, I have clients who come to me who are very advanced, but their ego-logical brain is so active that not only hypnotherapy and breath work and all these modalities help them overcome it, but we can tap into combo and really on a deeper level clear the mind, because combo brings such clarity, because it is the hunter's medicine, and it brings such clarity to the mind. It brings such, clarity to the body, to the energy, and to clears the energies of past generations. I mean, there's so much beautiful stuff that happens even with that modality. So to me, it's every modality that I work with, I fully love and respect and honor being of service to that modality, that energy, that medicine, and my clients. So there's to me, a very big level of respect. That's why sometimes when people would call them drugs, I get really, I'm like, no, it's not. Please speak respectfully to these ancient medicines that have been around for thousands of years, and they're here to truly just, to me, it's like hidden truth that is inside that frog, right? And that modality, and that helps us to remember what we have forgotten, because as children we remember everything, and then the world takes us and our parents take us and they say you can't say that and you can't do that and that's wrong and you shouldn't, and we lose sight of. So many of my clients struggle with, I don't know who I am, Kristine. I'm like, yeah, because the world has taken you and your parents tried to do the best to protect you, but at the same time, instead of parents being guides, they became trying to fix you and change who you are and change your path and tell you the safer way to live on this planet. But I'm hoping the newer generations would recognize, which is happening, because even my children's generation, Gen Zs, they're so different. And I always just smile and I'm like, yes, they are here to be free. They're not here to follow rules so much, not in the bad way, but in the way of knowing that they are here to be free and to do what they love, and not to just follow a path of force and, money, and all of that is good. I always tell my clients, when you do what you love, when people used to tell me, when you do what you love, you just are abundant all the time. I was like, what are they talking about, when I was in accounting? And now I'm the person that says, you have to do what you love, because when you do what you love, the universe just blesses you with abundance. And that's one of the biggest missions that we need to accomplish in humanity, because everybody seems to be lost right now. Everybody seems to be in fear right now. So yes, I know I went on a whole
No, I agree
journey.
completely with what you said, and we have to always, forgive our parents because they didn't know better. what the way they're behaving with us came from their own parents and so on
Absolutely.
and so forth. So it's generational.
Mhm.
And as long as we understand what they went through, then we can just forgive them and move on.
Absolutely.
And in terms of
Absolutely.
what you said about sacred plant medicine being considered drugs, again, I cringe at that concept and I take every single opportunity to explain to people these are not addictive plants, they are healers. And my third book in the Spiritual Inspire series will focus on shamanism and sacred plant medicine. And I will drill down into that idea within these interviews that these are healers. These
Absolutely.
plants use us with PTSD. I mean, the veterans and other people with issues,
Absolutely.
and they are not addictive. Try to understand people. They are just
Hmm.
helping us heal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To me, they truly are hidden divine truth in plants and in animals, from frogs to plant medicine like ayahuasca, which that to me is all those medicines are very sacred to my heart.
And would you be able to share with us any experience you had with Bufo, anything that was very transformational
Oh,
for
we're
you?
going there. Yes, I've worked with plant medicine for many years, and I've had un unlimited amount of transformation in my own life because of them, because every single experience that I've had, number one, I took it very seriously. This is the one thing that when I talk to people, anybody from my clients to others, I always tell them it's not about doing the medicine, because the medicine is not there to fix you or to change you or to transform you. The medicine is neutral. The medicine is only here to show us the truth, divine truth. That is love, that is freedom, that is the messages that I receive, or the past 3 years that I've received, are simply just saying, just be, remember who you are. It's that simple. But if I take that information and go, whatever, I'm going to go back to my human experience, that's why integration is such a key after medicine work. And every time I've traveled to Peru and Costa Rica and have experienced these medicines, I literally came back with, okay, here's the information, here's the wisdom, here's the truth. I better integrate it into my physical world, in this body, in this form, to experience that heaven that is promised to us, that is our birthright, in this physical form. Otherwise, because unfortunately I have seen many to that jump into medicine work and they think it's there to fix them, and they keep going in circles of doing more and more and more and more medicine, and they're just kind of in the hamster wheel of nothing changing in their life. So having had the medicine change, transform my life, I'm always advocating for the truth is there, the divine help, support is there, but we cannot take it and then be like, well, it didn't do anything. Well, when is the next experience, right? Because it's not, these medicines are not addictive, but if you're constantly in the hamster wheel, you're going to keep going back to the medicine, doing the medicine. And I've seen many go through that. And sometimes people don't realize or don't connect those two dots, that it's not about doing the medicine. It's not going to change you. It's not going to fix you. It's not going to heal you if you don't integrate it into your life. But once you do, is transformative. Every blessing that I'm living every day of my life, I owe it to my journey for the past 16 years, which is why I'm such a big believer, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because it's just the awakening, right? And it's the remembering who we are and helping as many of our brothers and sisters and divine beings in human form to remember who they are, because it's all we need to be is just be. But then if you tell the average person just be, they're going to be like, what about my bills? What about my struggles? What about my stress? What about my ancestors? What about my parents? What about the stories? I think the biggest thing that I help my clients let go of is their stories, because our stories don't define us. And that's what
Yes.
plant medicine is here to do, is to help us realize that's just a story, it's just an experience. Don't be so attached to it.
Yes, I had a chance to interview amazing shamans and people who work with plants like Robert Carlos Tanner, in fact, the founder of Ayahuasca Foundation, and many, many others who will be part of
Yeah,
the third book. But yes, we try to promote the safe usage of
absolutely.
sacred plant medicine, and also the
Mm-hmm.
integration is a big part, as you said. Everyone is mentioning,
Mm-hmm.
just to be sure that the circle is complete and people will
Mm-hmm.
get the
Mm-hmm.
best benefits out of it.
Absolutely. 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 The respect for the medicine, number one, and integration, number two. Because as I always say, our job or our journey does not end, not job, but our journey does not end when we're done with the medicine. The journey has just begun after the medicine. So many people think, I'm here, I took the medicine, I have to. Even recently, I spoke to someone that experienced ayahuasca, and they were like, oh my God, it was not at all what I expected. I said, I reminded you so many times, it's not what you expect, because expectation is of ego. It's what you need. That's what the medicine gives you. It's not what you want. It's never what you want. None of my experiences have been what I wanted. It's what I needed. This is why when I go into ceremony, now what I do is I just really, my intention is just to realign with my higher self. That's my intention, because I know I'm going to always be led to truth, always be led to love, always to be led to divine essence.
And other than the sacred plant medicine as teachers, do you have any other teachers in physical form that you go to and ask for advice these days?
It all depends. I have a lot of kind of little tribes that I'm part of. But at the same time, this is an interesting one. I love the question, and I'm going to answer it in the most gentle way possible. For so many years, even years ago, when I was, in Peru experiencing ayahuasca, the medicine said, you don't need me. You are the medicine. And at first, I was like, what are you talking about? Of course, I need you. Of course, I need your guidance. And over the years, as I continually reinforced that and I integrated that into my life, we realized that, yes, in the end, we are the medicine. We have everything that we need within us. The medicine is just there to remind us. It's not there to fix, change anything. It's just there to remind us that we have it all within ourselves. So, to be honest with you, as of, I would say, the past 2, 3 years, I am my own medicine. I am my own guidance. I am my own, which is why my higher self continues to remind me as soon as I become a little too human and I, exit the freeway in a sense, and I'm going to, be distracted or get lost temporarily. My higher self is very quick to be like, just be, remember who you are, just be, remember who you are. So that would be my answer if I answered your question.
Yes, beautiful. And in fact, there is a book called Becoming Medicine, written by David Kopatz, psychologist,
Mhm.
and Joseph Rael, beautiful painted arrow. He is a elder, Native American elder. So they got together and they wrote this book, Becoming Medicine, how we can turn into our own bag of healing tools. And it's a beautiful
Absolutely.
book, and I recommend to everyone. So
I
yes, you are
love it.
right. We can
Yes.
become our own medicine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kristen, you are also an author. Above all these amazing things you are doing, you wrote Living Through Choice and Wisdom
Yes.
Unbounded. So how do they reflect your philosophy? I mean, they both reflect literary, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
they both reflect your philosophy in literary form. How have these books deepened your practice?
Absolutely. So both books, even through the title, both of them. I mean, I channeled the titles because I was like, "What am I going to talk about? Writing a book?" Even when before the first book, I was like, "Author, what are you talking about?" Like the universe was like, "You need to share your experiences," and it was not an easy path. I didn't just decide, oh, I'm going to write a book. It was just so, again, divinely. guided, and it was an intervention. I was like, okay, what is the title going to be? So my books are literally my journey of my path and my client's path. And living through choice is simply exactly that, that when I first started this journey, one of my first lessons was truly to recognize that I do have a choice. This world does not take me into this spiral motion and, put daggers in me and all that stuff, because so many people live life of thinking it's me against the world. And I hear that from my clients oftentimes, and I listen and I gently redirect them and help them to not think that way. Because as long as we think that I'm, this little person being and the world is against me, what kind of a life are we going to live versus the world is here for me, with me, right? It's kind of like life happening to us versus life happening for us. It's one word that we're changing and it changes the entire meaning. So to me, and my books were literally that, because although I went through my training and I was looking for mentors and I was looking for guidance outside of myself, the universe constantly brought me back to, you got to remember that you have it within yourself. When you asked me that question, that's why I smiled. I was like, okay, let me answer this. I've had mentors in the past. I've had situations where mentors told me, if you pay me $10,000 a month, I'll mentor you. And I worked for free for those mentors and got nothing out of it in the end. And I realized God is between you and I. And that was the best path that I could truly take. But being the guy that I am today for my clients, for people that come to me for support and help, I do everything in my power so that they never feel that way, because it's, especially when we start a spiritual journey, the spiritual journey is not, hopping through fields of flowers. It really is not an easy path. It takes a strong person to say, I'm ripping my world open to, step into this world of spirituality. And there's a lot of challenges that come, and there's a lot of, and that's where I love that I come in for my clients, that they don't have to go through that. They don't have to struggle. They don't have to feel alone. They don't have to, be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should go back to my old life because it was safer that way. Once they dive in deep, and they keep going forward because they know I'm right there next to them, not holding their hand and pulling them forward, but walking next to them. That's the most important thing as a mentor, as a guide, as an advisor, as a healer, as a hypnotherapist, as all those titles mean nothing to me other than just supporting my clients in empowering them to know that I'm not here to fix change. Again, I don't know why this topic keeps coming up today, the fixing and the changing, because everybody, I think, is looking outside of themselves for that change to come. But I'm here to walk by you and just be your guide. So many clients of mine tell me certain times in their world, they'll be like in their thoughts and they're like, your voice pops in and this message comes in and this guidance comes in, or these words that you've said to me come in, and it immediately gets me out of my, mental, emotional state of negativity or spiraling. So in all reality, our world is so full of distractions that the books that I wrote were simply hope, in a sense, and beyond hope, that yes, we have a choice. Yes, we can transfer and change fears to love. Yes, we are here to remember that we are unlimited wisdom. So that's what my books really are. And the tools in there is because I didn't have any of that guidance. I didn't get those tools. And throughout my journey, as I navigated and got lost and found myself, and I just gathered and gathered and gathered. So how do I help my clients? How do I guide my clients? It's exactly through that, which tools supported, which tools help, which tools didn't work, which tools. And that's what my books really are, of just a reminder that help is there, because too many people think that it's the traditional way or no way. And that was my, again, mission as we started our journey here today together. As I said, combining the two worlds and realizing that it's not this or that, it's this and that. And if we combine it together, and if For some people, traditional way works. For some people, only the spiritual alternative way works. So for some people, the combination works, which is why, to me, it's the more of us that we share this information, the more people will listen, the more people will recognize, and possibly even, to me, this is not about trying the spiritual. Sometimes when clients contact me and they're like, I'll try it one session, I'm like, this isn't about, oh, here's the candy, I'll just try it one time and see if I like it or not. It's commitment to yourself, commitment to your transformation, commitment to your life. Although I'm blessed to say, when they do one session, they do a couple of more sessions, because they realize, oh wait, if in one session I can achieve this much peace, this much clarity, this much, transformation in my life, what can I achieve in 2 sessions, 3 sessions, 5 sessions, 6 sessions? Which is what I love to see, because to me, it's not about just taking that one little step. It's, if I started going up the staircase, maybe it's just me, I want to go all the way up. I don't want to just stop at the 5th or the 10th step and be like, okay, I think I'm done, I'll just sit here. I feel like we're beings that are capable of unlimited growth and expansion. And it's time for us to really dive into that truth. I
Yes, and
hope I answered your question. I know
yes, you
very deep
did.
with it.
And it's beautiful when we get that taste of change and possibilities.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I can tell you from personal experience interacting with my circle of friends, the moment they get that taste, the worry is, I'm going to change. What if my partner, husband, spouse won't do the
Mm-hmm.
same? What's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen to our relationship because they will stop understanding me, and it's going
Mm-hmm.
to be a breakout there, and they are so afraid that they pull back to
Mm-hmm.
stay in the same
Mm-hmm.
situation, to become complacent and have the same, or stay in that safe environment, as you said.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Well, that rings true to my own journey of, but I'll say this, when we take on the spiritual journey without becoming too personal in my own life, keeping my life sacred, but I'll say this, when we're committed to transformation and change, we must believe that holding back is only going to create more suffering, and moving forward is only going to free us. I hope I answered that question thoroughly in that way, other than going into, because the way my life is here right at this moment, I'll never change it to go back to what it was, because of the relationship change, the healing, the transformation that has happened in my life. So, in all honesty, my relationship with my ex-husband is a million times better. We are kind to each other, we respect each other, we love each other. It doesn't have to be the old way, because the old way wasn't working. The new way is working 100 times better, and the entire family is happy. Our kids are happy. We're happy. So at the end of the day, to me, it's always about just trusting in the process. It may not be easy, but as long as we keep going, in the end, as they say, after the rain stops and the clouds part, there's rainbows and sunshine. We gotta keep believing that and choosing that to get to that. Otherwise, we're always going to be in the rain. And why be in the rain when you can experience the beauty of the sunshine?
Yes, we have to put ourselves first, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Rule number
Absolutely.
one.
Yes. And that's not selfish. I always say that is self-full, because if we're not happy, how can the people around us be happy? They can't.
Yeah. Kristine, talking about writing, I know you are a big proponent of journaling, and you credit it as a powerful tool for clarity, resilience, and calm. Can
Mm-hmm.
you share a personal prompt or a journaling practice that has consistently helped you?
Absolutely. So, for many years, obviously, as we know, the first thing that happens when we wake up in the morning, what happens? The ego mind awakens. And the first thing it wants to do is remember every problem we have, every obstacle that is in our way, everything that's going wrong. So, the best time that I love journaling is right as soon as we wake up, because you go from rest, peace, sleep to awake state where it can go downhill. This is why it's so important not to do the first thing, pick up our phones and go on Instagram, or pick up our phones and answer emails and pick up our phone. And no, the first thing we need to do is to quiet the ego down, right? As I always say, it is not about killing or destroying the ego, because we definitely need that human part of us in this physical form. So to me, this year, I changed the words more so to taming and healing the ego, right? That part of us that is always in fear and fight and flight mode and constantly, what else can go wrong? So the best way to lovingly tame the ego is early in the morning, as soon as you wake up. And the prompt can be as simple as what I've turned it into, because over the years I used to journal every single morning. But the beauty of journaling is to recognize, and I don't know that enough people talk about this, it's not a lifetime tool, right? It's not about 20 years from now you're still journaling, because to me it's about, again, integrating that information into your life. I used to journal every morning. I don't journal every morning anymore, because the moment I open my eyes, my conscious and subconscious is so programmed already to that information. The moment my ego wants to go into, oh, you got this thing to pay for, or you got this thing to do, my mind automatically so quickly taps into the neural pathways that are created already, that are permanent, of I only choose and allow love into my energy field. So what does that mean? My ego cannot be in fear, because fear is not love and love is not fear. So those neural pathways immediately begin to fire. Only love is real. My energy and anything and everything that's around me, only love energy is welcome, right? Taking control. I talk about this with my clients all the time as well. It's like living through choices, knowing that we are responsible to take control over what energy fields are around us. So many people also think about it. What if I start the spiritual journey and dark forces and energy start, tapping into my energy field? What if I lose my mind? And I always remind them, do you choose that energy? They're like, of course not. I'm like, then why would it be around you? We got to remember that our intention is word and law in the universe. Whatever we intend for is what we're going to attract to ourselves. It's that simple. That's yet another empowering message that every person, and when they realize that, yes, my intention is everything, my word is law. I always say we cast spells with our words, right? Our words are our wand. And if we're casting spells of love, how can the other stuff distract you or overpower you or take over? And even if I catch myself being a little too human, I always in my mind ask myself, why am I creating this? I know better. I know I'm powerful. I know I'm creating my own reality. So why am I creating this? There's always a lesson in everything, right? To me, when I am in that human experience, it's opportunity for growth. What am I growing out of? What am I growing from? What am I growing into? To me, it's like every aspect of our life is not about running towards or running from. It's about truly just giving ourselves permission to know that if I'm choosing struggle in that moment, why am I choosing it? What am I trying to process? Is it a past life thing? Is it a childhood thing? And if I am, in the bliss, go enjoy the bliss, right? Ask for more of that bliss. So nothing is really, this is where, being grateful for no matter what energy we're in is all about. That we shouldn't just be grateful when we're doing well in life. We also need to be grateful for when we are somewhat struggling emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, in relationships, because it is an opportunity for growth in that moment. So I know I
Yes.
go too deep into
I like going deep because this is how the listeners and the viewers will be able
yeah,
to understand their own situation, their own
yeah,
path, and how they
yeah,
can become their own medicine. This is the only
yes.
way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just recognizing and realizing that we, our word, our thoughts create our own reality.
Yes. Kristine, you mentioned your teenage children. How do they react to what you do? Are they aware of exactly what you are doing?
Of course, they were only about 1 and 3 years old when I started this journey. So, of course, my kids understand. Of course, we talk about it. Of course, we have healthy also debates sometimes, because I love how, especially my son would bring in the logical parts of it into the spiritual and question. And we have healthy conversations around that. So, yes, they are very much open. They do understand. And there are moments where we have this two-sided conversation, because it's also not only this is true and that is false, or only this is true and that is false. It's about really compromising and finding the truth between, the two worlds of what is real and what is, what is human, what is spiritual, what is like. It's about keeping an open mind and not being fixed in our minds, but being flexible in our minds. Yeah, so they're very open. We have these conversations on a daily basis. We laugh about it. We have debates about it.
That's a great way to interact with our children. We do have discussions on the subject, especially that I branch out in a specific direction last year, and I didn't want to scare them, and I had to. And they understood, and they just say, "Okay, if you want to go crazy, no problem. We understand. Just let us know." And after each sacred plant ceremony, I also share with them my experiences, so they got a taste of what's going on this side of the world, and they will benefit
Exactly.
through interacting with me.
Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. And it is a divine choice. We could never force our children into that journey. If they ever decide to have that journey, that is their journey. That is their choice.
Yes. Kristen, you also organize retreats. Can you go a little bit deeper into those, and who should attend these
Yeah.
retreats?
Well, oftentimes the retreats, I used to do a lot of retreats globally. Like I did retreats in Costa Rica, I did retreats in Peru. My most recent one was actually local in Los Angeles. And who needs to attend? I mean, to be honest with you, when I look at my groups of who attends, of course the group is always the most perfect group to come together, because it's like weaving a tapestry together of everybody's journey may seem different, or everybody's experience may seem different, but in the end, when you come together in a group, you realize we're just one big family, and in one of us healing, everybody's healing. So it's divine, healing that is happening with every single person. One can come with fear, the other one can come with stress, the other one can come with lack mind. And it doesn't matter what, it is. If you put it on the same umbrella, it truly is the umbrella of fear. False evidence is appearing real. And after the retreat, it's literally the love of anything is possible. Oh my God. Like within 24 hours, your world can change and you're suddenly thinking anything is possible. That's what I love to see in every participant, that they come even into my sessions, right? They come with lack, fear, limitation, sadness, depression. And at the end of the first session, they're like, oh my God, when do I come in for the next session? That is what brings me the greatest joy in what I do. So, because they realize, oh, wait a minute, like suddenly it's like night and day.
Yeah,
So,
that's
anybody
beautiful.
that is looking to transform their lives, anybody that's looking to really be serious, this is what I always talk about, that if we're serious, like for me, when I first started 16 years ago, it was not for me to try something. It was for me, like, it was like, I don't want to be too heavy in my words, but to me, it was like life and death. Like, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore if there's no other way. If this is what humanity is, and if this is what the human experience is, and the only thing that really kept me from that other side that is very heavy and dark were my children. And I was like, my kids deserve a better mother. My kids deserve a mother that loves herself, her life, and enjoys and creates with love instead of creates with fear. Because I didn't want another generation of fearful humans on this planet. Like, enough of
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Kristen, if you could catalyze a healing movement on a mass scale across communities or globally, what form would it take, and where do you sense the greatest collective need lies today?
Oh goodness. That's a that's a question that could take answers that would be for hours. Trying to, but to simplify it is, oh goodness, because I've been a part of so many groups over the years. I'm like going through my thoughts of how there is no right or wrong way of doing it. It could be individually, because so many years that I've been doing this, I always said, I want to focus on retreats, right? And then Spirit was like, no, not just retreats. And then I was like, okay, I want to focus on one on one. And Spirit said, no, not just one on one. So I could only answer this in this way, that because I live my life truly surrendering to my higher self of where do I need to be? What do I need to do? The combination again of the two worlds is what works in my world. So when I feel I'm being called to do a retreat in a group, I do that. If I'm being called to do individual sessions, I'm doing that. So to me, there is no right or wrong answer or one way or the other. Again, as a Gemini, to me, it's a combination of everything, because being guided by my higher self is the best way I can be of service to humanity, to the collective, to anybody and everybody that is ready. And I know when I'm being called. Like, I hadn't done a retreat in many years since COVID, and I did my first retreat this year. So I just go with the flow. If I could say the easiest way is go with the flow, because I do not like forcing. Forcing could never lead us to love. Being in the
Yes,
flow is the way to be. I hope I answered your question.
I'll take that answer. Thank you. What's your perception of God?
Oh, I love that one. Well, coming from a background of Christianity, obviously, God was outside of me, a male energy that spoke down to me. And growing up, my mom always said, God is watching, you better be good. So many years I was so fearful of God. I literally was, in a sense, walking around like this: God, don't look at me, don't talk to me, like, oh, I'll just be a good girl. And there was one particular story that I didn't sleep for 3 nights because I was a teenager and I had goldfish. And I'm such a believer in never hurt anybody in any way, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, in any way. And these two cute goldfish were in a bowl, and my mom was like, I'm not going to take care of them. It's your responsibility. And me being a 12-year-old kid, I tried to change the water. So when I went to tilt to pour the water out and pour, I mean, they're goldfish. They are so soft and, slippery. One of them went down, the drain. And for 3 nights, I didn't sleep because I was so scared that God was going to punish me and send me to hell. That was not a fun experience for me. So, but of course, I still lived that belief until I was in my early 30s, until my spiritual world awakened and my very first ayahuasca experience. That was transformational. And it was God's voice, this male, deep voice that was talking down to me. And I started crying and I said, why do you talk to me this way? And the most beautiful chuckle that said, because this is how you know me. And I was like, I don't want to know you that way. And suddenly the voice changed to inside of me. And I was like, well, where is God? And that truly, truly transformed my life. And my fears were outside of me, like these monsters, like laughing at me and saying, we've been with you for so long, you can't get rid of us, with these red eyes and these, monster looking like things. And I remember, to me in that moment, it was Christ consciousness that simply just said, just remember who you are. And in that moment, I remember I put my hands on the ground and I just said, I remember who I am. And these monstrous fears immediately just disappeared. That was my very first shift in what God represents to me. And there's nothing wrong with how people think of God. Just, to me, I still very naturally, when I talk to my clients about God, I can look up right naturally, because all our lives we've been told God is up there. But ultimately, God is right here. It's the breath that we're breathing. It's the life that we're living. It's everything. God is in everything. God is not one thing. God is everything. So that's what I think of God. And there's no right or wrong for me, or I don't have a rigid belief around what God represents. To me, God is everybody's belief is God. As long as, to me, honestly, the one place that I would say is God is love, God is forgiveness, God is truth, God is light. That's what God is to me. There's no harm, there's no judgment.
Thank you. Beautiful
But I
story, beautiful
respect
answer.
everybody's belief system, whatever works. Everybody's
Yes,
on their own journey. There's no right or wrong journey.
I agree. Kristine, thank you. And we're
Thank
at the
you.
end of this lovely discussion. Do you have any final comments?
Ah, oh, final comments. This word keeps coming up. Live in freedom. Know that you're free. I don't know why the word freedom keeps coming up, but it's meant to be shared, I'm guessing.
Yeah, maybe because those who think that are above us are trying to lock us down again and suppress our freedom of speech and freedom of thinking. And maybe that word freedom
Mm-hmm.
should awaken something within every single one of us.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree.
Yes.
It's our
Thank you
birthright.
very much. Much love and
Thank you.
everything, and good luck in everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
And to my viewers, thank you for watching. Share it, leave a comment. And until next time, love and gratitude.